Your reasons for listening to the show, well, those are your own. But just keep in mind that the views, information, or opinions expressed on the Tuttle Daily Podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of our sponsors. Yeah, it's called free speech, people. Nobody's forcing you to listen.
Get ready for your daily dose of Tuttle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuttle. Tuttle in Florida.
From the Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuttle Daily Podcast.
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuttle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Welcome to another edition of the Tuttle Daily Podcast. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Make sure you go to my website, Tuddle.net. That's Tuttle with two D's, Tuddle.net. When you go to Tuddle.net, you're going to be able to find every single place you're going to be able to find me online. That could be on social media, any single place. All the ways that you can contact me, every single little thing. When I mean every single little thing at Tuddle.net. Yeah, I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. It was actually a pretty decent sports weekend, if you think about it, okay? Now, I know that NASCAR, they have been kind of like changing their tune up a little bit. They're kind of concentrating on short tracks than what they are the bigger tracks, and they're also going with a little bit more road course racing. And I got to tell you, I used to not think this way, but a lot of the other like leagues, like F1, Indy, they would always talk about how much of pussies the stock car drivers are. And I kind of saw that a little bit yesterday. Because, excuse me, morning coffee, I just burped right into the microphone. But the way that I look at it, though, is that, you know, a lot of these other drivers, Formula One, Indy, they all have had to drive in the rain. Hell, you know what? We all have to drive in the rain every single day. One of the big problems that they were talking about yesterday was because, there was so much mist flying up off the track. Have you ever been down I-75 or I-95 or I-4 during a rainstorm and a big-ass semi comes by and just missed you? Like, you cannot see a goddamn thing when a semi is just blowing by you, Talladega matted, with the accelerator all the way down on the floor. Yeah, come on, we're able to deal with it. We're able to handle it. And this is out in the wild. So you're telling me that a bunch of professional drivers, yes, I know stock cars are much heavier, but man, they ended up having to dry off the track for them. They ended up letting them come back in to wipe off their windows and put some more Rain-X on and stuff. And then they ended up calling the race because of too much rain. Like, okay, now we know that you guys cannot run on the big, like, oval tracks that are banked in the middle of the rain. It's impossible. But you're on a goddamn road course. You guys wanted more road courses. Now that you got a road course, it rained. Learn how to deal with it instead of changing up the rules midway through the race. You guys were double file, and I know a lot of you guys hate NASCAR, but you know what? Look, I've always been the biggest supporter of NASCAR, but what I saw yesterday, Jesus Christ. If you're not going to play by the rules, then why bother running these road course races? It does not make any sense at all. And then the other big story, lefty Phil Mickelson wins the PGA Tour Championship at the age of 50. I think he might be over 50. The reason that it's weird because I see him doing those commercials for the rheumatoid or arthritis. I know that I just butchered rheumatoid or rheumatoid arthritis. And I got to tell you, man, that's some pretty scary stuff because they show the pictures like if left untreated, what your hands look like. And they look all just like gnarled and like broken from the left to the right. Yeah, it's like you got a witch's hand, like a straight up witch's or like old Gary Oldman vampire hand from the Dracula movies. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, lefty goes out. Everybody, see that's also the thing about golf. You know, it's one thing for Tom Brady at like 42, 43 to win another Super Bowl, to show how much of the GOAT he is. But golfers, though, every once in a while, you're going to get that old, like, has-been, that old guy. Hell, you know what? You know what? I will say it now, because Tiger is never coming back. Tiger, after that accident, is not coming back at all. So, yeah, he is a has-been. All right, so Tiger, a couple of years ago, when he won the Masters, everybody was like, yes, Tiger's back, yeah. Well, you see how quickly they forgot about Tiger. Same thing's going to happen to Phil Mickelson. But that's the thing about golf, though. Those old dogs, the ones that they say that can't learn new tricks, yeah, every once in a while they learn some new tricks. They figure out something. Then they play the game or the round of their life and end up pulling out a tour championship, a major. So good for Phil Mickelson. I mean, I've heard some, bad things about him as well, too. But, everybody thought that Tiger was like the golden child. He could do no wrong. Yeah, well, guess what? He turned out to be the biggest scumbag out of them all. And, this accident that he just recently had just kind of proved the whole thing. So congrats to you, Lefty Lefterson. I've talked about this on the show before about why do all states, they all gotta pick their state pie, their state bird. Hell, here as a country, we have a national bird, which is the bald eagle. I think that we would have been better off. I think that the turkey, which they originally wanted the turkey to be the national bird. And I think the turkey kind of represents the American people way better than a bald eagle. Like, bald eagles look majestic, but also at the same time, I don't know if you guys realize this, is that bald eagles are kind of like scavengers. I mean, they will go and they will eat dead shit off the side of the road, just like a vulture will. So let's not act like they're too majestic. You know what? The more and more I think about it, the bald eagle might represent the American people more than what we actually think. But I don't know if this is as of recent, but, I've been noticing this as of late. I'm starting to really, really hate the Florida state bird. And I don't know if a lot of you people even know what the Florida state bird is. The state of Florida bird, not like FSU University. No. Florida State University. No. What I'm talking about is this state bird of Florida. Like our state pie here in the state of Florida is key lime. Key lime pie, of course, Key West, all that stuff. But our state bird is the mockingbird. And is it just me? Or has my ears been kind of like just, well, I don't know how ears can be blind, but just deaf to the whole situation? Because these mockingbirds, they are the most annoying ass motherfuckers, and they never shut up. Never shut up. They're like the Energizer Bunny. They just keep going and going and going and going and going and going and going. And I mean, their name is self-explanatory. The mockingbird. They can mock any of the birds that they hear. The new one that I'm hearing from them as of late, I don't know if this is like a learned behavior, because these mockingbirds, they're not like born with all this information. They actually have to study. They actually have to hear what they're doing. That's why they're called the mockingbird. But I've been hearing them actually nail a whippoorwill. I don't know if you know, the whippoorwill is I don't even know. Whoop, 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 whoop. No, that's more of a dove. Whoop, 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 whoop. See, I'm making an idiot of myself. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that these mockingbirds, they just do not quit. Like, I don't know right now if like it's their breeding season, and this is like how horny they are. Like, they're so horny that they just won't shut up. Like, it sounds like these mockingbirds have done a little mixture of the finest cocaine from South Florida and maybe some Pasco County methamphetamines and just kind of mix those together. Because, one upper, what's better than one upper? Two uppers. So let's do meth and cocaine. And that's exactly what these birds are. They're nonstop. And from what I'm hearing is like, that is how, because, how lame is that? Like, if you look at some of the other birds, they give them all like nice colors and everything, trying to impress them, kind of looking like a pimp, like straight up iced tea pimp. But no, not with these birds. I mean, they're the most bland looking birds that you could ever find. And their whole talent is how annoying they can be. That is how they get laid. You know what? God, matter of fact, if I was a mockingbird, I would actually probably do pretty well with the females. Just saying. I mean, I have a pretty annoying voice. It's not that stereotypical booming radio man voice. No. So maybe I was meant to be a mockingbird. Maybe that is proof that evolution and natural selection and Darwinism actually exist. Because maybe I was meant to be a mockingbird, just sitting up in a tree, just talking with my high-ass, pitch-ass voice, getting all the bitches when it comes to the mockingbirds. Hell yeah, I'd be a mockingbird pimp with this voice. No doubt about it.
A horrific accident in the Italian Alps today. A cable car popular with tourists plunging to the ground.
See, in one of those little case files of things you see in movies that should make you a little bit apprehensive about using those, any spy movie, like any like undercover like war movie, like they always seem like the antagonist or the protagonist, whatever you want to call them, always has to take a ski lift up to like an evil hideout place where like these other spies are hanging out, and he has to, infiltrate this little ski lift. And then usually, he makes it out, but by the time he's leaving on the ski lift, one of the bad guys usually like jumps on top of the ski lift and they get into a big fight. One of the ski lift cables breaks, the ski lift swings, but somehow, like, they're able to roll to safety, and nobody actually gets that guy. Maybe the bad guy ends up dying. Who knows? But, yeah, that's why I don't really ever, like, I always have that thing of, I don't get involved. Yeah, I don't get involved in, like, movie-type scenarios either, especially with ski lifts, because this was had to be a horrible way to go out.
Falling nearly 50 feet, at least 14 people killed, including a child. The local mayor is calling it a terrible, terrible scene. Here's ABC's Maggie Rulli.
All right, let's think about this here. Okay, so was that 14 people, including the child? So is it technically 15 deaths, or is it 14 deaths and one of them happened to be a child? I'm just asking, because I hate when they automatically bring up, oh my God, there was a child on there. Yeah, you know what? It does suck. It really does suck. But, I mean, isn't a life a life? Like, is it better to have lived a life and know exactly what's happening to you at that time? Or is it better off to be a child and be young and dumb and really not know what's going on before you just go crashing down to your death? I'm just asking. Because I don't understand why the news always is like, do they do that? They're like, oh my God, people are going to tune in more if we do the lead introduction and say that one of the deaths was a child. A poor baby, a little baby child died. No, a death is a death, people. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be shock-jocking. But, I mean, and later on in the story, you're going to hear why they also bring up other children. It's like, it blows my mind.
Tonight, tragedy in the Italian Alps. A cable car plunging nearly 50 feet, killing 14 people, including a child.
You know, everybody wants equal this, equal that, equal genders, equal races, not racist, races, equal religion. Do you think the baby or the child's like, yo, hold on. What's up with all this ageism, motherfucker? Why do I get a special category just because I'm a baby? Nah, I want to be in with the adults, yo. I'm just as a death as these these old-ass motherfucking adults here. We just got to deal with it, yo.
Officials saying another child was the only survivor.
Oh, and I apologize. I don't know why my baby got all hood there. It just did. It just kind of flowed out. I thought a hood-ass baby getting pissed off that he wasn't included with all the other deaths out there, just like he was a regular human being. No, dude. You get categorized in the baby deaths. Baby deaths go straight to baby Jesus heaven. Like, you get to hang out with baby Jesus. You don't get to hang out with adult Jesus. You get to hang out with baby Jesus. Like, baby Jesus seems so much cooler than adult Jesus, if I'm just throwing it out there.
A policeman saluting as the hearses take away the dead. The car was on what was supposed to be a 20-minute trip, taking people from tourist hotspot Lake Majori up Mount Monterone, about 4,000 feet. Local officials say people hiking on the mountain heard a loud hiss just before the crash.
You know, a lot of you guys just think I'm some radio nerd or whatever. But for the longest time, I was an iron worker. One of the first jobs I had as an iron worker was rigging up stuff. Yes, I was a rigger. Yes, I was a rigger. And I would rig up stuff to the crane, and the crane would pick it up. Now, the last thing you want to hear is that big hissing noise, because that big hissing noise, that is the cable getting unspooled from the crane itself or its foundation. Does that mean it's the same thing as fishing? Like when you hook onto like a big-ass tarpon and you're not prepared for it, and then all of your line just goes zip. That's how quick that a full-size tarpon, when you're not ready, will just spool you. It just goes zoop. All your line's gone. And that's exactly what that hissing was. When you hear that hissing, it will make your asshole pucker up. It will make your asshole pucker up. You would not be able to get a grease pencil up your butthole when you hear that noise, because it is never a good sign.
At some point, it appears a cable broke, sending the car plummeting to the ground, where it then rolled down the mountain before slamming into trees. Italy's Alpine Rescue Team says the lift had just recently been reopened since being closed during the pandemic, adding that it was renovated just 5 years ago.
See, these stories are all too formulaic, okay? Everybody, you get these big accidents, you get these accidents where some people die. The first thing is everybody's covering their ass. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, it was just service. Oh, it was service during the pandemic. We took the time while nobody was using this ski lift. We maintained the whole thing. We went over this thing top to bottom, checked every nut, bolt, screw, whatever it may be. So, yeah, we're not responsible for this at all. It's just an act of God.
The Italian government has announced they're investigating this disaster. And Lindsay, we also have an update on that sole survivor. We're learning from officials the child is in serious condition with multiple bone fractures, but conscious.
I was trying to think of it. See, it's been a while since I've been to the movie theater, but the last movie that I remember that had a ski lift in it that actually fell was the Kingsman 2 movie. Yeah, it was. Remember where they had to come to America? And, man, if you look at that movie, they make the Americans look like such assholes. Like, seriously, they do. And then the Americans are the ones, oh, we got to help out the Brits again here. Oh, my God. Yeah. So, yeah, the Kingsman, the second one, was the last one that I can think of where a ski lift was falling during like a spy movie. All right, anyways, I digress. Going to take a quick break. Be back in a few minutes. You are listening to the Tuttle Daily Podcast.
Great news, folks. You now have the chance to see the face in front of that sexy voice. Right you are, sir. The Tuttle Daily Podcast streams Monday to Friday on YouTube. Anything can happen at the Hobo Fish Camp. Okay, sir. That's enough. Okay, so go to youtube.com/Tuttle. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you're notified anytime Tuttle goes live. Good job, sir. Questions? Comments? Concerns? Compliments? Or do you just want to tell Tuttle to fuck off? In any event, contact Tuttle. Tuttle@gmail.com. It's, Tuttle with 2 Ds, dumbass.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tuttle Daily Podcast. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tuttle. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button. The reason that you're going to want to hit that bell button is when you hit that bell button, it's going to alert you anytime that I go live or upload any brand new content to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tuttle. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for any amount of time, you know that there are I don't even know how you would even call it, because it's not even dating anymore. It's just like hanging out. And maybe that is my biggest problem. Like, I let things go on for way too long. But the one girl that I really, really like a lot, Teresa, we've been hanging out a while. She's the nurse that I know here that works locally. You guys, her friend Queen of the South is one that has read the news stories and stuff for me. We've gone out quite a few times. Not yesterday, but the night before, we went to Ale House, and the night before that, we went to this Mexican restaurant here in the Oak Hill, Edgewater area. You know, the one right there by the Publix. Anyways, we went there, and I don't want you guys to think the reason that I'm bringing this up is like I expect something back. You know, like if I'm buying, you know, you better be getting off some ass, woman. No, that's not the case. You know, I try to do nice things for people. You know, I play that little clip at the end of every single show. Happiness is the greatest thing, even if it's not yours. So, and a lot of you guys probably will call me a sucker. Like, oh man, Tuddle's a sucker. He is a sucker. These women are just like using him and all that stuff. And no, I don't think that's the case. If I felt like I was being used, I wouldn't put up with that. But yeah, see, that's the thing about it, is that I do like a lot of these women that I've been talking to. There's a few of them that I'm talking to. You know what's even funnier is that it's weird. The further long distance that they are, the more that I actually get along with that person more. Like, isn't that like a big kick in the balls? Like, seriously. Because there is this one woman that I've been talking to that is long distance. We talk on the phone a lot. We text a lot. And that's the one that I get along with the most. And that's just my goddamn luck. Because the ones that are nearby, the ones that I actually have a chance with or a possibility with, they're interested in other people, or they're not interested in me. So we end up going to the Mexican restaurant, and I ended up buying that night, and that's okay. Like I said, I don't do things to expect stuff in return. Plus, you know, my friend Teresa, I shouldn't say friend, because when you use friend, like when you use certain words, that's all you're going to be. I just need to say, you know, Teresa. I shouldn't label her as friend or what, because if I label her as friend, she's always going to be a friend, I guess. Anyway, so we end up going out to eat. I end up paying the night before. That's fine, okay? And then we go to Ale House because she works as a nurse. She is a frontline worker. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take her out to dinner before she goes to work. So we go to Ale House. We're getting this stuff, and she pulls out a gift card. I guess a gift card that maybe I don't know. Maybe her underlings, some of the nurses or whatever that she teaches, gave it to her as a gift. Now I was like, all right, cool, hell yeah, this is badass. It was $20. And I give the card to the woman, the waitress, plus I give her my card to be able to pay for the difference. Well, the waitress comes back and it's like, oh yeah, this gift card doesn't work. Now, I'm not anybody of anything. I'm not accusing anybody of anything at all. But, I mean, the way that my brain works the whole time is like, oh man, that is a great, man, she got me. She got me. She got me. And that's the thing about it is I know that that's not the case because I know Teresa very well. But in my mind, I was like, the whole time I was like, oh man, why have I not thought about that? You keep a busted-ass gift card in your wallet, and like if you want to act like you're paying, like you're making the effort, and then you give the gift card, and then the gift card comes back, and you're like, oh, this gift card's no good. What? Are you kidding me? I just got this as work, even though, you know that you probably used it like 2 or 3 dates ago with another dude. And by the way, this is all speculation on my part. This is not anything that's a fact. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. But what I'm trying to say is that, think about it. I don't think Teresa actually really, really did this. But if I'm just being honest, think about it, guys. Come on. I'm trying to let you in on a little bit of a secret here. Get you a busted-ass gift card. They'd be like, I'm going to use this. I got this as a gift at work. And then when it doesn't come back, the other person actually has to chip in more because you were like, oh, listen, hey, sorry, it's at the end of the pay period. All I got is this gift card. You might want to help me out here a little bit. Yes. Thank you, Teresa. Please. I don't want you to think like I'm mad at all. No, hell no. It was great just being able to spend some time with you and stuff. But I got to give you credit. The busted-ass gift card, magnifique. Magnifique. You know that I talk about this a lot. You guys actually think that I'm a nerd, which I am a nerd. I really, really am. But I'm also a nerd that knows some manly things. I know how to be able to live off the land if things got really, really bad. Like, seriously, I know that I would, but I saw this story, and I don't know why people don't do that as more often as they should be. But meat eaters hit hardest as inflation sweeps U.S. grocery aisles. Now, this is true, and I'll get into why I wanted to talk about this, but inflation is landing in America's refrigerators, and it's hitting meat eaters most of all. About 1 in 3 U.S. adults say they're spending more on groceries than they were at the start of 2021. According to a Morning Consult survey of 2,200 U.S. adults conducted May 17th to the 19th for Bloomberg News, red meat was the ingredient cited most often for its higher prices, with chicken right behind it. Food inflation has been inching up for months, driven by soaring commodity costs, costlier transportation, and challenging securing labor. Rising demand for meat from home cooks as well as from the booming fast food industry has buoyed prices as well. We've got these pockets of inflation without having corresponding wage growth, and that's going to put consumers in a really, really tough spot. Now, here, let me help you out with this. Every single year, and I know that a lot of people, they just cannot stomach it. They cannot stomach having to be able to see where their food is coming from. Do you realize, like, if you, I think it is more honorable, and hear me out, okay? All the PETA people out there, I know that you guys don't believe in eating meat, and I know that eating meat is not the greatest thing for you. It causes a lot of cancers. It really does. But I also think that if you raise your own meat, you know where the meat is coming from. You know what you've put into it. You know that the animals have been treated ethically, like with some type of compassion, even though you're going to kill them at the end of the day. I told you this. Every single year growing up in DeLeon Springs, we would raise a cow, we would raise pigs, and we would raise chickens. Now, we rarely, like, had a chicken slaughter because we used the chickens for eggs. Matter of fact, that was one of the first jobs I ever had, was selling eggs in town. I probably had close to 100 head of chicken out on the old farm. But we also had pigs. We also had cows. I've told you guys the story of the glazed donut cows that we raised growing up. We had 2 big-ass cows. I forget. One was Bessie. What was the other one? Bessie and the other one. God. And the worst thing you could do as a child is name the farm animals that you're eventually going to be eating. You never want to name them. Do not let your kids name the cows, because that's just going to cause more of a problem. If I'm just being honest, But we fed those 2 cows because my mom was a baker at Winn-Dixie, Brandywine, right there on the city limits of DeLeon Springs and DeLand. She worked there. And at the end of the day, they actually would make too many glazed donuts, and they would throw them away in the dumpster. You know what my mom would do? She would bag up all those glazed donuts, bring them home, and the cows would eat nothing but grass all day. But at the end of the night, they got a probably 5-gallon garbage bag full of glazed donuts, and they would eat every single motherfucking glazed donut that we threw in there. And I got to tell you, it was some of the sweetest meat that we had ever had. It was grass-fed, great water, well water, maybe a little bit too much iron in it, and then glazed donuts. Had a salt rock there. It was getting all the stuff. These cows were living like kings. Same thing goes for the hogs. The hogs, we would bring in like all these like extra produce and stuff because at Winn-Dixie they would overstock and then the old produce would go bad. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is that, you know, there's a way for everybody out there to be able to eat. There really is. And I think that we have all just become too good. Like, as Americans, we think we're too good. I talked about this the other day, hanging out with Dakota and Nicole. I ate garbage pizza. I ate pizza. Even though, listen, guys, I can afford to be able to buy any slice of pizza that I want to right now. I'm not trying to, like, floss on you. I know that's not something to floss about. Hold on. Okay, I don't know if that one actually showed up or not. Who knows? I know this is going to sound disgusting. I know a lot of the, yeah, whatever. God, that kind of stinks. Anyways, what I'm saying, though, is that, inflation is hitting hard, but guys, learn how to live off the land. Like, seriously, if I wanted some meat, I could go away and I would have all the meat that I would want to be able to eat for the rest of the day. I'm just saying. Going to take a quick break. Be back in a few minutes to wrap up the show. You are listening to the Tuttle Daily Podcast.
Orlando Weekly, Best of Orlando. Write the Tuttle Daily Podcast in the category for Best Podcast Not on the Radio. Visit Tuttle.net where you'll find a direct link, so you can't complain that it's too complicated. And if you don't live in Orlando, no problem. If you're a supporter of the show from anywhere around the world, you can vote too.
Wish you could have just flown and had your vehicle arrive a day or two later so you can enjoy more time doing what's important to you? Well, you can. Just give Starfire Transport a call. Let the professionals do the driving while you're flying. Starfire Transport specializes in RV and auto transport. They'll also haul watercraft from boats to PWCs, cargo trailers, and more. Service available throughout the continental United States. So don't wait. Call Brian today at 574-349-4193 or 989-751-6106 for your next move. 10% off for veterans past or present. Also, make sure to tell them Tuttle sent you for an additional discount. That's Starfire Transport. Want to support the show? Go to paypal.me/Tuttle on the radio.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Tuttle Daily Podcast, last segment of the day. There's a couple of ways you can get a hold of me, two of them being, you can email me, Tuttle@gmail.com. That's Tuttle with 2 D's, Tuddle @gmail.com. Or you can leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. Once again, that is 407-270-3044. Now, a lot of people want to talk about how Florida gets a bad name. Oh, Florida man, Florida this, Florida that. No. Alabama, Mississippi, all those little states there, they are just as backwoods as Florida. Alabama will now allow yoga in its public schools. All right, so as soon as I read that, I was like, all right, so why would yoga be a bad thing to have in schools? And it's Alabama, people. It really is. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey signed a bill to allow public schools to offer yoga, ending a ban that stood for nearly 30 years. Christian conservatives, see, there is your main problem right there. Christians, conservatives, any religious group, by the way, who backed the ban, said yoga would open the door for people to be converted to Hinduism. Okay. So what is the major problem with that? I thought this whole country was based on freedom of religion, freedom of speech. And you guys don't want yoga to be taught in schools? Listen, if yoga is a religious thing, then it should not be allowed in school. No religion should be allowed in school at all. I don't think it should be. The new law allows yoga to be offered as an elective for grades K through 12. While it erases a ban that over the years some schools had not realized it existed, it also imposes restrictions on how yoga should be taught. Students won't be allowed to say the word namaste, for instance. Meditation is not allowed. Chanting mantras, mudras, or mandalas, induction of hypnotic states, guided imagery, and namaste greetings shall be expressly prohibited, the bill states. Well, I don't know why. I thought namaste was supposed to be like peace, love, and happiness. I could be wrong. I mean, I really, really could be wrong on that one. Alabama adopted its yoga ban in schools in 1993. One of many fronts in the culture wars in the United States, and was a fight to undo the ban. Hold on, God, get out of the way. Jeremy Gray, a Democrat, first introduced a bill to revoke the yoga taboo more than a year ago. His new bill got final approval Monday, the last day of the legislative session. Gray has said his experience with yoga began when he played college football at North Carolina State University. Describing yoga's potential benefits, Gray said in March, studies have shown that yoga helps children cope with daily stressors, yes, it improves their behavior, flexibility, and strength, along with concentration. Yes, 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 and yes. Because guess what? I would rather these kids be doing yoga than getting drugs just thrown down their throats nonstop, because Big Pharmaceutical wants to keep our kids zombified. Yes, I said zombified. And what, I mean, I really don't, I have never heard of any yogis or yoga people, like, and I'm sure that it does happen, because I just don't, but you don't hear a lot of, like, pedophilia when it comes to yoga people. Like, you just don't hear it. His own practices has never been stopped him from going to his Baptist church, he said last month. He also noted that in sports-loving Alabama, the state's elite football programs have long embraced yoga. Hell yeah. You want to get something done? You want to get something done in the state of Alabama? You incorporate the Crimson Tide. Roll Tide, baby. Roll Tide. And you can get plenty of stuff done. So this is just one of the many things that I'm talking about that we have to deal with here in the United States of America. That is just absolute complete bullshit. We got the state of Texas trying to ban abortions, even for women that have been raped. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna see a lot of problems. You're gonna see a lot of accidental deaths of people going to, like, you know, shady doctors that are willing to do abortions in the state of Texas, or fathers that are so pissed off, because I'm telling you right now, I don't know. I know that the child is innocent. Child doesn't know any better, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let my daughter, if she does not want to have the child, to have a baby that is the result of a raping. No. And then after we take care of the little demon seed, I know that's a very insensitive way to put it, but I'm going to go out and we're going to murder. We're going to find this rapist, and even if he's in jail, I'll find a way to get into jail. Yes. And I will take care of it. That's how I would take care of it. So once again, we're letting religion creep back into our society here in the United States. And I know, like, this conversation is not going to make a lot of people happy, but I really don't give a fuck. I really don't. Religion causes most of the problems that we're dealing with here in our country, all over the world. Most wars have fought over religion. So it's about time for all of you people to wake up, get woke, and do something about it. Just saying. Anyways, didn't mean to go on a big rant there, guys. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I am going to be doing a live stream tonight at 8 on my YouTube channel. Check it out, youtube.com/Tuttle. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Hope you guys stay safe, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
And that's the show for today. Thanks for listening to the Tuttle Daily Podcast. Hey, don't be a dickhead. Do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. Also, check out the Tuttle category at 315live.com. The Tuttle Daily Podcast is brought to you by Starfire Transport, StitchYouUp.com, and PocketPairClub.com. Special thanks to show producer Vulture and co-host Sirach. Show voiceover service is brought to you by JCVoiceover.com and The Little Cheese Show. Download and subscribe to The Little Cheese Show everywhere podcasts are found. If you want to help support the show, go to paypal.me/Tuttle on the radio. You have something you want to say? Tuttle@gmail.com or leave a voicemail at 407-270-3044. To follow all Tuddle's social media, go to Tuttle.net. That's Tuttle with 2Ds.net. Thanks again for all your support, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Tuttle Daily Podcast.
A society grows great when old men plant trees, the shade of which they know they will never sit in. Good people do things for other people. That's it, the end.